Welcome to the Mindset Architect podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect, podcast number 87. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching. And as always, I just want to take a minute and thank you for sharing your time with me. Time truly is our most valuable asset. And the fact that you're willing to share your time with me truly does mean a great deal. So today, here we are, team. It is spring where I am. And I love this time of year because it's a great reminder that while things may have been dormant or quiet for a while, there's change coming and we're experiencing it and seeing it. And the simple things like more daylight, the sun's rising earlier, setting later, things are in bloom. Your allergies might be telling you that more than your eyes. Yet things are in bloom. Things are changing and coming back to life. And I love that comparison to how we are, because some of us may be in a position that we need to experience our own spring. We need to bring things back, bloom, and show up in a different way. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I know that there's a lot of stuff going on, right? And I refer to the external stuff as noise. So news, the markets, political stuff, all of the things that are going on. And during times when things are shifting or changing or pivoting, and we are uncertain of how we're going to get through it, it can really sidetrack or derail you from moving forward because you get caught up in that moment, like oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I've never done this before. I'm not sure how I'm going to get through this. And the first thing that I would say that you need to do immediately is just stop and take inventory of what you do really well. Really pay attention to what are your strengths? What are your values? What do you bring to the table that is a win? How do you win, or how have you won in the past? Because just that moment of recognizing that you've got a skill set that you're bringing with you, that you have had previous success, that you are a good, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're a real estate agent, a leader, entrepreneur, you're a great one of those. And you are collecting and reminding yourself of the successes that you've had. That is really important because that will pull you out of the chaos and pull you back into, yeah, you know what? I am actually really good at this. I can do this really well. I do this really well. I do that really well. And it starts to change your energy, which makes an impact on how you show up. So that would be the first thing that I would say to do. We can't just focus on everything that's great. So we have to look at, hey, here are some areas that maybe there's some opportunity for me to learn or to educate myself in. And that's okay. Just being aware of those is okay. Because as you start to move through different situations, if something comes up that you are a little weaker in than in others, just don't forget all of the strengths that you have. That's probably one of the most important things that we can do, because you know yourself really, really well. We tend to push away our successes and look at the challenges or the potential failure. That's just how our brain likes to process information. And that can set you into a downward spiral. So just take a minute, take a step back and look. I will do this a lot with my coaching clients. Now, they all have great resources and tools that we've worked on, yet we're just humans. And at times you can really get into your head. And if one of my clients shows up really tilted that it's a time where houses aren't selling, their listings aren't moving, their buyers aren't making offers, that they're feeling like it's all this external, the market, it's uncertainty on the client's end, which we're going to talk about. But they start to get in their head about it. I just pull them right back and say, let's think about what you are really great at. Because in my experience in 24 years in this entrepreneurial real estate lane that I've been in, there's always challenges. There are. It's just how severe we want to define it or make it or allow it to appear that impacts our level of certainty. So first thing I always do is let's just talk about your strengths. Let's talk about what you do really, really well. Let's focus on those for a moment and let's just collect ourselves. That is an immediate shift in their energy. And then we look at, okay, for given the current situation that we're facing, what do you think could be some opportunity for learning or what we could do a little bit better? And we look at that and we put together a strategy on how to improve that. What that does is it immediately calms your brain down and says, I got this, right? I can lean into all of these great strengths and I'm working on improving these other areas. It's not a big deal. We always have room for improvement. So that's the number one thing I would say to do for yourself is to, when you're feeling uncertain and you're feeling uneasy, just take a step back. Number two, always stay in a growth mindset. I understand why people do this, yet this is the worst time that you could end or dissolve a partnership that you have with a coach or a mentor. We tend to do it. I've seen this happen a bit when we go into conserve mode. We want to save our money because we're afraid we're not going to make any. And we start eliminating expenses, which some expenses are good to eliminate. However, staying in a coaching partnership, staying in a mentorship relationship, being part of training and education is really important to do right now because it helps build your resilience. I've got a couple coaches right now that I work with, and I will tell you, I will show up on some of those calls feeling pretty beat up just because of what's happening and a lot of things that are going on. And all I know is that if I'm feeling that way, there's something that I have an opportunity to learn, either how to handle or how to be better at. That's it. And so when I stay in that growth mindset, it really does help me build my resilience and knowing that I can get through this. I've got all of these other transferable skills. I've got all of these natural talents. I've got all of this experience I'm going to bring with me. And I'm going to hone my skill set a little bit through coaching, through training, through education, through having a mentor. Constantly immerse yourself in that world. That is critically important. So that would be a really important thing. If you're struggling right now and you're in a coaching partnership and thinking you need to end it because you want to save some money, I promise you it is the wrong time to do it. You need a coaching partner right now more than ever. They will help keep you in a growth mindset and help you keep learning and sharing resources with you that you may not hear about and allow you to continue to move forward towards your goal. The third thing that I would say is important to do to just kind of bring yourself into a more level playing field of certainty is to shrink your goals down a little bit. I'm not saying reduce them, but what I am saying is I might have to set some goals for the day or the week versus the month, the quarter, or the year. And I want to do this for a couple of reasons. When I can set a goal that is achievable or a goal that is more digestible, right? So if I look at my month goal and I'm in week 1 of the month, that goal may seem really, really big. But if I break it down into weekly, like divide it by 4, all of a sudden it's a little bit smaller. And then if I need to, I can break it down. If we take a month and divide it into 4, that's a week, I can break it down by the day. And what this does is it prevents you from getting into overwhelm and adding to that level of uncertainty. And your brain is like, hey, I got this. I can do this. This is just one day. If I just do this today, I'm moving towards that goal. So we might want to really look at what our goals are and adjust them into consumable chunks or consumable sprints. I love doing that. It really is a great way because there's a definitive start and finish. So if it's for the day, and I'm just measuring the goal for the day. That's it. I'm just going to focus on today. Today, I need to have 15 conversations. Today, I need to follow up with 10 people. Today, I need to go to a networking event. Today, I need to go to that lunch with that friend that might have a referral. Those are the things that you can break down and you feel really, really good at the end of the day when you get that done, which builds momentum for the next day. And then you do the same thing and you build momentum for the next day. And before you know it, you've had 5 or 6 days in a row that you're achieving a goal. I achieved the goal. I achieved the goal. I achieved the goal. And that within itself can be one of the biggest gifts you can give to yourself because it builds your confidence. It lends to that resilience that we have. And it really does make your brain feel comfortable knowing, hey, here's where I'm starting and here's where I'm finishing. And there's just a little space in between for the day. And I can do it. I can do it. I can do 1 day's worth of goals. You might do it for the week. You might do it for the month, whatever it is that works for you. I know for myself, when I get in a place of uncertainty, I break it down to daily because I want that hit of momentum. I want that hit of celebrating every single day that I got to my goal, because that's going to create certainty. If you get to your goal for the day, you're going to feel more confident, more resilient, more it's more believable that you're fine, and it's creating certainty because you've accomplished something that was very, very measurable. So I love taking those goals and breaking them down into digestible chunks. It really does just reinforce your capacity to achieve what you set out to do. And like I said, when I do it for myself, what I love is that at the end of the week, I feel true movement. I feel truly certain in what I'm doing because I won every single day. I won the day. I won the day. I won the next day. I won the next day. And I'm building and building and building. And it is taking me out of a place of uncertainty and moving me into a place of, I got this, which is so healthy and great for your brain. Now, if you're working with clients, so if you're in an industry like real estate, where you've got buyers, sellers, investors, whatever it is that you're working with, you've got those people experiencing a little bit of uncertainty as well. And we need to make sure that we are the space for them to come to feel certain. That when they're with us, they feel very confident, they feel comfortable, they feel like you're their trusted advisor, and that you're going to lead them through the process and help them create certainty that they're doing the right thing, that they're taking the right steps, and it's the right decision. So just keep in mind that we as humans are feeling a little bit uncertain. So are our clients. And if you lead a team, you need to think about your team members as well. They're your clients as well. So if you've got buyer's agents, seller's agents, if you've got administrative support, marketing, whatever it is, they're also experiencing this thing called life. And they may need you to demonstrate or be that source of certainty for them. So make sure that you're keeping track of all of those folks that are dependent upon you, whether they're a paying customer or a staff member or a team member. Really, really, really important. One of the best things that you can do to help your grouping of clients feel certain is to make sure that you've got accurate information. And I say this all the time, like in the real estate lane, real estate is not static. It's not. It's constantly changing. If you track numbers, which you should be doing, if you're tracking statistics, you can see that real estate's never really static. It's constantly changing. I think that's what appeals to a lot of us entrepreneurs in this industry, is that it's not boring ever. And sometimes you wish it would be a little bit more boring. But the fact is, as long as you are collecting information and not treating it like you treated it 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago, you are going to be able to provide truly timely, accurate information to your team, to your clients, to the people that are in your space. And I think what's really important about this, especially in times of uncertainty or a lot of change that's happening, is that we're getting news that is old. We're getting news that is data that is maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months old. But if we're providing accurate, real-time information to our clients and our teams, it really does help create a level of certainty for them. And I've seen this happen a lot. I will meet with a client and they have old information. And I'm like, hey, let's really look at the current information of what's going on. And it changes the way that we approach the situation, which allows them to win more of their contracts or win more clients. So it's really important that you are providing accurate information. One of the best ways to do that is to be a student of whatever market you're operating in. If you're a real estate agent, you should be studying MLS every single day. You should be able to predict the trend that's going to happen next. I predict that days on market are going to go to this. I predict that sales price is going to be this over list price. I can predict what home is most likely going to sell for. If you're in a different industry, you should be able to do the same thing. You should be studying your numbers to the point that you know them and you can predict what is going to happen. And then you can check in when it does happen to make sure that you are thinking correctly and headed in the right direction. One of the things that I always say too about allowing your clients to feel more certainty around you when you provide accurate information to them is really make sure that they understand it and that they understand the impact on them. A lot of times we talk about numbers global way about what's happening in the industry, and we need to bring that down to this is the impact it will have on you, or this is the impact it could have on you. But again, it all stems back to you having accurate data that you can share. And the only way you're going to get that is to do some analysis and studying. You have to, if you want to be that home base of certainty for everybody in your world. The other thing is, we talk a lot about consultations. I'm going to go have a consultation with this client. I'm going to go do this. I'm encouraging all of my clients right now to change those to strategy sessions, because that's really what needs to happen. A consultation to me can be a little bit vanilla. It can be a little mundane. We can be going through a presentation, a sales presentation, and we're just going through it, treating this sale like every other sale. When we now know that nothing is static, we need to be strategizing for what's happening in the current moment. So I would change the way you approach a client and create a custom plan for them that's a strategy. And what I love about strategy sessions with a client is it really involves them. This is what we are going to do. There's such power when you can bring them into the strategy versus just consulting and telling, that it changes the relationship. They have a different connection to you because they've been part of the strategy. Because let's be honest, there are a lot of different ways we can get get them to their goal. And if we work together and strategize and put together a custom action plan for them, they're more likely to buy into it and to support you on the journey to getting them to their goal. So creating customized action plans via strategy sessions is one of the more powerful ways to help create certainty for your client, even your team members. So if you've got a team member who's struggling, right, have a strategy session with them. Don't have a, employee employer type of conversation. Have a strategy session with them. Here's what's happening in your world. Let's look at it. Here's what's happening externally. What's our strategy to keep moving you forward? Again, getting that two-way conversation going, them participating in the strategy and then coming up with a custom action plan for them is a surefire way to get them to buy into it at a higher level and feel very confident about what they're going to be doing. I know if I were to tell my clients what to do, they believe me and they trust me, yet there's less buy-in. When we come to this together, they have a greater buy-in and they're more likely to be able to move forward. So creating that custom action plan for the people that you impact is really important. And then I think the third thing that we maybe don't do the best job of is effective open communication. Whatever industry you're in, many times we just forget that we've done this over and over and over and we know what's happening. And we're not communicating with our client what we're doing for them behind the scenes or what's really going on. So having regular check-ins, having the conversation and ending every one of your conversations with here is what's going to happen next is a really great way and a really great form of communication with your client, because that creates certainty for them. They know what you're doing. They know what's happening behind the scenes. They know what's going on next, and they know what to expect. Hey, I should be getting a phone call back from Tony with an update about whatever it is. So having and fostering open communication is really important. The other thing is make sure you share with your client to minimize the noise or the advice that they're getting from people that are not industry experts. A lot of information on the news is coming from people that haven't ever done what you're doing. And they're just generalizing. And it can create a sense of fear for your client. And again, a sense of uncertainty. So just make sure that you're checking in regularly and that you have created the space that your client can communicate with you openly and say, hey, I heard this. Can you tell me how much truth there is to it? Or is it something I need to be concerned about? So having those open lines of communication during uncertain times is a really easy way to create certainty for your client. I want you to think about this. If in the chaos of what's happening, you are the beacon of light of certainty, is that client ever going to leave you? Most likely not. In your presence, they feel calm. They feel like they have a plan. They feel like they know what's going to happen next. They feel like you are providing them with amazing information. We've got a custom blueprint for them. They are going to feel so attached to you that you're going to improve your retention, and you're also going to improve referrals from that client. Because trust me when I say, when you can show up with certainty, so you've got to work on those things for you, your client feels safe in your presence. And that is really important anytime, but mostly right now, it's critically important for you to have that energy of certainty. If you are not feeling that, I would say don't meet with the client right now, because they're going to pick up on that, and it's going to compound their uncertainty. And you're most likely going to hear either, hey, I've changed my mind, or I think I'm going to wait until things are a little bit different. You're going to lose them potentially to somebody else who is certain. So make sure that you're taking care of you. And we talked about that, right? We talked about be self-aware of your strengths, be really proud of what you've done, build that place of certainty for yourself, stay in a growth mindset with your coach, training, education, mentors, conversations with high-level people, and then 3, potentially breaking your goals down into very consumable small chunks will help build your certainty so you can show up at a higher level for your client. For them, it's providing them with accurate information, real-time information. It is creating a strategy session and plan with them so they have a custom action plan that's going to help them move towards their goal, and then having that open communication. You do those 3 things for you and 3 things for your client, and I promise you, your business is going to change. It just will. I've seen this happen over and over and over with the clients that I coach. When we create our own certainty, we attract more business to us. It's not about doing more. It's about who you are attracting into your world by the energy that you are putting out. And that's what I love about this conversation, is to get more. It's not that you have to do more. You just have to show up differently. And you have to show up for those people in your world differently to help them feel certain. There is nothing better than feeling certain in uncertain times, because you feel removed from it. You feel like, hey, that doesn't apply to me, and I can do what I want to do, and I can achieve the goals that I've set for myself. It's why I have a couple of coaches, and I always will have a couple of coaches in my world, because when I have those meetings with them, I feel certain. I feel like, hey, I might have to borrow their belief for a little bit. I might have to lean in and trust that what they're telling me to do, even though it might feel different to me, to trust the process and to implement. It is the best time in the world for you to be in a partnership. So if you have any questions about this or anything else, you can reach out to me. And I'm happy to schedule a complimentary 1-hour strategy session with you. If you know you're ready to hire a coach, please reach out. I'm happy to talk to you about what we do at Rethink that makes us different than other coaching companies, that has helped our clients experience breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, even in markets where most are not experiencing breakthroughs. So you can find me, Tony at rethinkcoaching.com. You can find me on all the social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. And you can also just go to our website, rethinkcoaching.com, and fill out the little pop-up box for your name and your contact information. It will come directly to me. I'll reach out to you and we'll schedule a free 1-hour strategy session that is custom just for you. Go create some certainty for yourself and for your clients. I promise you, this is a great time to take advantage of the market. It truly is a great time for you to show up in a way that you're going to attract clients at a really high level. You're going to retain the clients that you're working with, and you're going to improve the amount of referrals that you get, because you're just that person that they got their strength from. All right, go make it a great week, and we'll talk to you next week. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.